Arshay Cooper is the recipient of the Anita DeFrantz Award, given to an individual or organization achieving measurable success in expanding diversity opportunities in rowing. Arshay has dedicated his life to bring diversity to the sport. As a team captain and founding member of the first all-black rowing team at Manly High School in Chicago, those experiences have shaped his life path. He is an award-winning author, penning his memoir, Sugar Water, which has helped introduce an amazingly diverse audience to the sport of rowing. He writes about overcoming adversity in a powerful and real way that speaks to the next generation of students who have high aspirations for their own rowing careers. Arshay dedicates his time rowing, fundraising, and recruiting athletes to diversify the sport. He has coached at the Chicago Youth Rowing Club, worked as the program director at Victory Outreach's Midwest region, organized Stop the Violence rallies, and created and founded several inner-city programs. Arshay continues to work closely with the Eastside Indoor Rowing Program, which he founded in 2016, and serves on the boards of Row New York and Hope Culture. He also serves as a national motivational speaker, having engaged with diverse audiences, including public schools, universities, community centers, sports teams, and President Bill Clinton. Arshay has acknowledged that rowing has changed his life, and he's made it his life mission to change others' lives through the sport he loves. Congratulations, Arshay Cooper, the 2017 recipient of the Anita DeFrantz Award.
Thank you. I just want to thank my mother, who is not here, that's back home in Chicago, my good friends, Amanda and Jenny in Row New York, and you know, my lovely wife, who's, she's a rock star, man. Talking about someone who's involved in civil rights and human sex trafficking, she's a hero in my eyes. So I want to thank her for being by my side. You know, when I was young, the teachers will always say, when we're having a bad day, put your hand on your heart. You feel that? It's called purpose. You were here for a reason. Don't give up. And I heard that a lot because giving up was a daily routine for me. It was easy to give up when you grew up in the worst neighborhood in the city of Chicago, when your mother was a drug addict, when you never said the word dad a day in your life, and you flunked out of the 8th grade. Life was tough. But one day, I remember walking into the second most violent high school in the city of Chicago. I was a freshman, and I walked into the lunchroom, and I saw this white boat, and it was so pretty. I looked, and I kept walking. And this white lady came behind me, and she tapped my shoulders, and she said, "Hey, would you like to join the crew team?" And you know, in Chicago, when you hear the word crew, you're taught to run the other way as fast as you can. So I was confused. And she said, "Well, let me show you what it is." And so I walked over to the other side of the lunchroom, and behind this boat, they were showing the Olympic Games. And I looked, and I saw nothing but white people, and I said, "Oh no," and I walked away. And I sat next to my friend Preston, and I said, "We don't even swim. Can you believe they're trying to put us in a shell?" And Preston was a bit of a conspiracy theorist, so he said, "Well, this is how the white people kill us." I said, "Well, I don't think that's it. I'm just saying we shouldn't be flying across the lake." And I remember the next day showing up, and the boat was still there in the lunchroom. And that same friend, Preston, he looked at me and he said, "I think we should try it out." And I was like, "Oh, I don't think so." He said, "I think we should try it out." So he talked me into doing it, and I went upstairs after school, and I seen kids sitting on the gym room floor. And I knew these kids. These kids were sons of drug addicts, prostitutes, and drug dealers. And I sat on the floor, and this man walked in. It was this Jewish guy. He had this big curly hair. He had this intense Bernie Sanders look, and he stared at us. And he said, "Rowing is not for everyone. It's for those who are willing to work hard and put in the work." I know everyone here wants to play football and basketball because we all said it. But he introduced me to a sport that was amazing. He introduced me to a sport that changed my life. That day I sat on an erg machine and I kept rowing. And a month later I passed the swim test. And then a little bit after that I'm sitting in the erg room at University of Wisconsin. And I'm sitting in the tank. And a month after that, 16 young black men is docking out of the Penn boathouse. And then we running the hills across the street. And then I just started rowing and we started racing. And we, city after city after city. And the sport changed my life. We was on the front page of the paper, and then the young boys who were considered the rejects and the outcasts of the west side of Chicago became the solution. Rowing changed our lives. And that young man, whose mother was a drug addict, who failed the 8th grade, who never said dad a day in his life, who lived on the west side of Chicago, grew up to go to college and traveled the world and won an award-winning author and speak to tens and thousands of young people every single year. The moment I wrapped my hand around those oars, my life changed. It made me a man. I didn't think I can get along with people who didn't look like me, but rowing changed that. I couldn't focus. I didn't like people, but rowing changed my heart. And what I'm most grateful for is my coach. A wealthy man who was very busy with his family, who decided to share the sport to a group of people that no one else wanted to. And I was so excited for that. And so when people see me, when I show up at a school, I don't want them to see a rower, I don't want them to see a writer and an author, but I want them to see one thing, and that's hope. Because when I think of Dr. King, I don't think of an educated preacher, I think of hope. When I think of Harriet Tubman, I don't think about a Union spy, I think of freedom. When I think of Gandhi, I don't think about a lawyer, but I think of peace. When you begin to represent something big into yourself, true change happens. I was showing a young girl Megan's TED Talk, and she didn't see a rower, but she saw opportunity. Me and David Banks was in Northern Cal last week, and right in the inner city, we had a rowing rally. And those little brown faces didn't see an Olympian, but they saw an opportunity for this sport. They saw a future in this sport. So I don't care if a kid is from Irvine, California, or the south side of Baltimore. I want them to see U.S. rowing and think one thing: opportunity, future, and hope for every single kid. And I give myself away to that mission. I give myself away to this vision, and I close with this. The history of sports tells us that each sport has made a significant impact in the world in some way, but none has entirely reached its goal without the power of diversity. So what are we gonna do? I had a troubled past. Our country has had a troubled past. In some of our rowing careers, we may have had a troubled past. But in rowing, we know this, that we row forward by looking in the opposite direction. And I learned that it's okay to look back as long as you keep moving forward. My fight with the past is over. And I want to thank you all for contributing to the sport in a different way. I see you all at the finish line, and whatever you do in the sport of rowing, God bless you.